So, welcome to 7.3. Earlier in the year, we learned that you don't divide fractions, you multiply by the reciprocal. Very similarly, when you subtract negatives, you don't. You add the opposite. And we're going to go over that today. So let's find the opposites, also known as the additive inverses. So the opposite of negative 16 is 16. Do not put an equal sign between them. The equal sign doesn't mean that. It means the two things are equal. These are not equal. They are opposites. Opposite of 5 is negative 5. Opposite of negative 9.6 is positive 9.6. When you add opposites like 16 and negative 16, you get 0. 16 minus 16, interestingly, is also 0. Same answer, right? First or second grade. 12 plus negative 5 is positive 7. 12 minus 5 is also positive 7. Interesting. Same answer. 4 plus negative 9.6, right? 9.6 minus 4 is 5.6. So this is negative 5.6. What is 4 minus 9.6? That's what we're doing today. Well, it turns out it's the same answer, negative 5.6. It is not positive, right? 9.6 is bigger than 4. And so when you take it away from 4, you're short. You're short how many? 5.6, you're negative 5.6. Now what is this warm-up trying to show you? It's showing you that subtracting 16 is going to be the same as adding negative 16. Right? That's the one next to it. Whenever you leave the first number the same, subtraction of 16 will always have the same answer as adding the opposite, adding negative 16. Subtracting 5 will always have the same answer as adding negative 5. And subtracting, now those two, in first grade, you didn't need to know that, or second grade, right? But now, if you have to do 4 minus 9.6, minus 9.6 is the same as adding negative 9.6. And once you write it like that, it's a problem we already know how to do. There are 5.6 extra negatives. So rewrite the subtractions as adding the opposite. So x, so you always leave the first number the same. So x minus negative 10 will always have the same answer as adding the opposite. There are two things to do. All right, so x minus negative 10 is the same as x plus 10, always. I think adding 10 is way easier. X minus 7 is the same as x plus. You change that now. No one gets this one wrong, ever. But the one over here, people get wrong. Why do they get wrong? Because they forget that that's positive 7. That's a minus positive 7. Because there's two things to do. You have to change it to adding, and you have to change that second one always to its opposite. So it's positive 7, it becomes negative 7. It's negative 10, it becomes positive 10. All right, so we're going to just practice that over and over. We're not answering them. So 6 minus negative 10 is the same as 6 plus 10. Negative 5 minus 7 is the same as negative 5 plus negative 7. Negative 4 minus negative 3 is the same as negative 4 plus 3. 10 minus 18, not 8. It's 10 plus negative 18. Negative 8. Negative 4 minus negative 9 is negative 4 plus 9, same answer. Negative 5 minus the negative 5, same as negative 5 plus negative 3. All right, so be very careful. This is the trickier side over here, right? When it's subtraction, you add the opposite. In both cases, it's obvious on the left you have to do two things, right? You have to make the subtraction adding, you have to make the negative number a positive. On the right, you make the subtraction adding, you have to make the positive number a negative to add the opposite. All right, so we're still not answering. We're going to rewrite this. So the first number stays the same, the negative 5. The minus 9 becomes negative 9. The minus 2 becomes plus negative 2. Those two problems have the same answer, but the one in blue is considerably easier, I think. Same thing here. First number always stays the same. Minus negative 3 becomes plus 3. Minus negative 8 becomes plus 8. The blue one is definitely easier this time. right, so now we're going to evaluate. 7 minus negative 11 is the same as 7 plus 11. Now we know it's 18. So subtract, taking away a negative 11 is the same as adding an 11. Negative 13 minus negative 3, same as negative 13 plus 3. All right, so there we have negative 13 plus 3. We have 10 extra negatives there. It's negative 10. 12 minus 15, not 3. It's the same as 12 plus negative 15. So it's negative 3. Both of these are negative 3. Right? And we'll talk about that more. Negative 6 minus 4 is the same as negative 6 plus negative 4. Right? Add the opposite. So it is negative 10. These, it's 8 plus 6 plus 5. You can add those in any order. 6 plus 5 is 11. 8 plus 11, 19. The first number stays the same. Minus 6 becomes plus negative 6. Minus negative 4 becomes plus 4. Right? You add the opposite in both cases. I'm going to add those two together first and get negative 7. Negative 7, I don't need parentheses. Negative 7 plus 4 is negative 3. This one here, by the way, it is true. When you switch a problem around, like 15 minus 12 is 3, when you switch subtraction around, you get the opposite answer is what happens. All right, negative 5 and 37 hundredths minus negative 2 and 3 hundredths. All right, so we're going to change this to negative 5.37 plus 2.03. So we have negatives and positives. So we're going to see how many extra negatives we have there. And I'm thinking that we have a negative 3 and 34 hundredths, or negative 3.34. 4.8 minus 5.3. So 5.3 is bigger than 4.8. We are going to get a negative here, right? Because this is the same as 4.8 plus negative 5.3. So let's find out. 5.3 minus 4.8. We have some borrowing here, right? You have to put the 5.3 up top because it's bigger. 13 minus 8 is 5. Oh, and it's just negative 0.5. You can put the leading 0 if you'd like, but negative 5/10. 8 plus 7.31, right? We're adding the opposite, so you can just add those up. 8, right? Lining up our decimal points. That's why this one is here, I think. And so it's 15 and 31 hundredths. This is negative 3 and 9/10 plus negative 5.4, negative 5 and 4/10. They're both negative. So we're just going to add them up. And I'm getting negative 9 and 3/10. Now, commutative property is only for addition or multiplication. It does not work for subtraction or division. We're just going to go over the fact that it does not work for subtraction, right? 9 minus 2 is 7. 2 minus 9 is not 7. It is negative 7. So if I write this, that's not true. That's false, right? They're not equal. They're not equal. Now, when something is not true, you don't write the name of the property down. So don't write commutative property. You write commutative property tells you when things are true, not when things are false. It's a little weird detail. 8 minus 6 is 2. 6 minus 8, not 2. Right? You switch it around, you get the opposite, you get negative 2. No commutative property of subtraction. We're going to practice. Right, so notice in the first two, it's not asking for the answer. Read the instructions. It just wants you to, you're going to do this on the test too. So I want you to be able to rewrite things as add the opposite. So negative 5 minus 12 becomes negative 5 plus negative 12, right? You add the opposite of 12. Now you're going to evaluate. So this one's 35 plus 3, which is 38. This one is negative 18 plus negative 12, which I'm going to get negative 30. Negative 15 and 8/10 plus 16. All right, so this is going to be positive, and we're going to do a little, you have to put the 16 up top, and you have to do a little regrouping. And I'm getting positive 2/10. 5 minus 7.8. Now, truthfully, when I'm doing these myself, I know that it's going to be the opposite of 7.8 minus 5. Right? It's going to be the opposite of 2.8. It's going to be negative 2.8. Because you switch it around, you get the opposite answer. But let's just show adding the opposite, right? There you go, negative 2 and 8/10. First number stays the same. Each other one becomes adding the opposite. 3 plus 5 is 8, plus 4 is 12. Much easier. Negative 8 plus, that's a negative, plus negative 12, that's plus 5. So I'm going to add these two together and get negative 20. Negative 20 plus 5, negative 15. This one is 10. This one is negative 10 because it's 3 plus negative 13. So which two are the same? Well, A minus the opposite of B is the same as A plus B. A minus B is the same as A plus negative B. Now don't switch this around. That's not negative. That's not subtraction. That's addition. So which two are the same? C and A would have the same answer for all values of A and B. Good luck with the homework.